Hello and welcome along to the On the Whistle podcast. I'm your host, Zayn Nabbi. Today we're doing it live. And why are we doing the show live? Well, it's important because for the first time in a long time, Kaizer Chiefs are top of the PSL log. And joining me to break this all down is our man in South Africa, iDiski Times reporter, African football expert, Lorenz Köhler. Lorenz, how are things with you going in Johannesburg?
Things are going good. Things are going good. Let me just correct you there. Durban City, Gavin Hanside on top of the
Wow. I
table,
mean, I
but
mean,
but by alphabetical order because they've got identical records. Three goals scored, zero conceded, 6 points, two games, both of them.
you
So
know,
just by virtue of being the D over the K,
Durban's at the
then
top.
they're top.
Listen, two things. One, I'll never argue with Durban being on top when it comes to South
Mm.
Africa because it's my hometown. Okay, you Cape Town Joburg people can do your own thing. Um, but come on, the headline is Chiefs on top of the table. I mean, this is like this is the yin and the yang because Pirates are bottom of the
I
table.
think they 13th or 14th. It's crazy. It's like, I
You
mean,
know,
I'm glad there was another guy that came to me after the press con. I mean, during before the press conference started, the Chiefs, and he's like, "Hey, I always do a preseason preview with you. You didn't do one with me this season." I'm like, I'm glad I didn't because I did not expect the start of the season. You know what I mean? I was like,
sure.
I would have expected Sundowns Pirates obviously to be on 6 points each, and they're not. Chiefs at the moment are flying.
Yeah.
You
So,
know,
look, it's two games in Lawrence, and it's still early days. And in today's show, what we're going to do for everyone out there is we're going to tell you what is this a cause of optimism for Chiefs to be top of the table. We'll also get into Pirates and how things are going with their new coach. Of course, we've got to do the impregnable force that is Sundowns, and then we'll talk a little bit about Durban City, and of course, the new team in Bloemfontein, Siwelele. And then if we have some time, we'll cram in a bit of Chan because Benni McCarthy has been working his magic in Kenya. But for those of you listening out there, we really value our community. We love to hear your thoughts. So if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on Riverside, wherever the show is streaming live for you, please put some comments in the comment section. We'd love to get them up. We love to hear from you. This is your community. This is our community. And Lawrence, I'm going to start with some comments that came in from our last live, which was last week. We had a few comments come in that were of interest. We had Leonard Tsotsetsi say, Siwelele should be a team to watch for me. They've got a good squad that was not put to good use by Coach Gavin Hunt. Obviously, that was under Supersport. Gavin is doing some great things at Durban City now. What do you think? Do you think that squad is has the potential to do better?
um, yes and no. I think they could have, been a bit more ambitious in their signings, but also maybe less pressure. They just signed, a couple of battle rams, very experienced players. I think 330-year-olds and 135-year-old, Buhle and Kwanazi. Somebody was at the 2019 AFCON next to Tyson Tlatswayo. It's ironic that they've released Tyson and signed Buhle, who's been inactive for like 3 seasons. Yeah, but anyway, he started the first two games. They won the first game against who did they play? Siwelele played Golden Arrows 4-1.
Yes.
But obviously they lost to Orbit College at Dobsonville Stadium 2 nights ago. So look, I expect them to maybe push for top eight. Anything more would be slightly ambitious because I mean they have lost their serial goal scorer in Bradley Grobler, who is now doing the business for Sekhukhune
Yes.
um, at the ripe old age of 37, and he's back-to-back goals, MTN 8, and obviously now in their win against TS Galaxy last night. So they're also flying 2 wins from two. They obviously beat Pirates last week. So Sekokune has been a good squad, and to add a regular goal scorer there, you cooking something, Mr. Tinkler.
I like the sound of that. Before we get into the full pod, Lawrence, just a few more comments to read out. We had Zizo 3993 say, I see tears in Soweto United. Who could he be referring to? Pirates? Who? Who do you see as Soweto United?
I think when he says Soweto United, he generally means every team in Soweto, which is Chiefs and Pirates. But it's just a banter thing that they always say, like they get excited in the start of the season. Oh shit!
That's the beauty of live shows.
Yeah,
Phones
they
ring, things drop, but yeah, go on.
yeah, my phone just fell on the floor, man. I'm checking if it's still okay so that I can still do work. But yeah, it's you know when you drop your cover, when you take your cover off your phone, and that's when it tends to
Look here.
drop face for yeah.
Don't
Anyway,
worry.
oh
We
yeah,
give
yeah.
you squillions and squillions so you can buy a new one.
Yeah, we like the start of the season because everybody's excited. Whether
Yes.
you Marumo Gallants, whether you Magezi, everybody's excited. And then you'll say, Sundowns is not the same team as last season, or this one is not the same as last season. And then you look 10 games later, boom, somebody has 9 wins on the trot. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So I think that's what the guy is saying because we've seen it before many times.
Of course, of course. And one last comment, we have it from Raf Cannon. Raf is one of our loyal members of our community out there. We love to hear your comments, Raf. And he said, it's a great choice to go with community over fans. Community encourages much better conversations. Raf, we couldn't agree with you more. Thank you for being around our bride. Thank you for joining us. And of course, if you're out there and you're watching, and I can see our numbers are filling up as we speak around this braai, I might not have enough meat for you, but I have enough space to answer your questions. So post them in the comments section, whatever comments you want to ask, whatever questions you have, and we will bring them in. Immediately, we've had one, Lorenz, before we get to our big talker, from Soshungwe, who said, Grobler is in a good team and he's going to score more goals this season as long as he receives the balls in good space. Trust me, he will net it easily. And you've already referenced this.
Hmm.
Do you think he's going to have another good season with good numbers?
Yeah, if they can manage him properly, he's a proper net eater. Like just, nothing fancy, just a fox in the box. He's good aerially. He can hold the ball up. So I mean, he's not just a good goal scorer. He can hold the ball up well. Like you feed the guy, and that's such a rare thing in the PSL to have a player you can rely. Just knock the ball to him.
Mm,
He's either gonna score or he's gonna knock it to the winger and get into space and stuff like that. Super underrated player. And obviously, he's also chasing the PSL all-time scorers record. So there's a lot to be buzzing about for the old horse.
sure. And thank you out there, Patrick Kutso Mapula, for that comment. Please post them in here. Hit up on our social media accounts, OTW_podcast on X and Instagram. And of course, you can search for the On the Whistle podcast on YouTube and, of course, Facebook. We're here. Join us. Come banter. Lawrence, let's get into it. And I know you'll keep me honest here because Durban City are joint top of the table. But for all intents and purposes, Kaizer Chiefs, top of the table. A great start for the Chiefs fans. I'm getting a lot of funny memes in my timeline. Um,
Yeah.
Great start for Nazarene Nabbi, my namesake, although he's 1B, I'm 2B, 2Bs. Um, Tell me, dare we ask the question 2 games into a very long season? Could it be Chiefs here?
I wouldn't bet my mortgage on it as Chiefs as the champions at the end of the season. Yeah, I think there's still a lot of question marks around the team. Like, I mean, I was even reading the comments of the fans, and like it made me feel like I'm not crazy because I was watching the same football match. Um, they were playing against 10 men with Stellenbosch, and they beat him 2-0 with a penalty at late on. They beat Polokwane with a late goal, like 80 something minute in Glovu. Okay, good. New player, new scoring a goal. So look, the bench is obviously improved. They're making an impact, which the assistant coach Cedric Kazi rightfully said. But they're not been playing like well, you know what I mean? But then on the flip side, there's been games where Chiefs have played well in the past and they come with an egg at the end of the game. I think it took them 11 games last season to get a clean sheet. So now you say they're not playing well in both games, but they've got 6 points and two clean sheets. So you look at that and you say, What you gonna take? Not playing well 6 points or playing well with 0 points. You know what I mean? So perhaps they will, get better. We haven't seen some of the new signings like Ethan Chislett play, Flavio Silva, which is the new striker, the new number 9, which has got a lot of criticism before playing a official game. But the coach also explained him to be a fox in the box, somebody that's going to be there on crosses, going to be there at the rebounds, and he's not your. He said he's not a Thierry Henry or a Robert Lewandowski. He's just a guy who needs to be where he needs to be, and that's what they feel they needed. So let's see. You never know. I think a title win is ambitious, but they should be happy with a top four, top three, if they can get it in Nabi's second season. He's obviously absent right now because of his wife. Had an incident in Tunisia, so he had to return home. So yeah, it's been a good start. We don't know when he's gonna return, but to say they'll win the title, I think it's a little bit ambitious at this point. But let's see how the season progresses. They've got Richards Bay next at
Mhm,
FNB,
mhm.
and then Sundowns at FNB after that. So you could be looking at 9, 12 points potentially if they can beat Sundowns and Richards Bay. Then we can have having a different conversation in 2 weeks time.
Sure. And just to back up your point, Lawrence, we've had Patrick who's on our live stream. Thank you for the comments, Patrick. Patrick says, I'm a Kaizer Chiefs fan, my brother, but trust me when I say we are still struggling, regardless that we've won the 2 games. I mean, it certainly backs you up. But I mean, listen, 2 wins out of 2. Like you say, Nabby's not around. We've got to be hopeful that at least there's an African qualification and potentially another cup that Chiefs could bring home this season.
Yeah, look, I mean, they're in CAF Confederations Cup, so the squad is deep. I think
Sure.
this is a season where they really need to build experience. You have Aiden McCarthy, 21-year-old, the son of Fabian, who is starting to show some real promise, back-to-back man of the match performances. We've got new signings in Monyane, Mako. They bring a lot of experience from Pirates. You've got Mduduzi Shabalala, who's been, he's closing in on 100 games for Chiefs, but he's 21 years old.
That's nuts,
Wandile
right?
Wandile Duba also around 21, Fundo Vilakazi. So I think this is the thing where you start to develop your core and you build towards something special next season. I think the expectations need to be like be better than last season, do well in CAF, and win a cup. And then I would think that would be a successful season for Chiefs because you are building on a team that finished 10th and 9th in the last 2 seasons. And they always say the table never lies.
Mm, I'm with you. I'm with you. And as we talk about the table not lying, Lawrence, and I know you'll correct me because you'll point to the many teams that are currently rooted to the bottom of the table. But Orlando Pirates sit in the bottom of the table. They've had 2 losses, including one to Marumo Gallants, who sit as one of the undefeated teams. There are a lot of Kaizer Chiefs fans who I'm an old man, Lawrence, as you know, so I'm on something called Facebook, and there are a lot of my friends on Facebook posting memes saying things like and holding up signs saying, makes me laugh actually, that new coach Abdeslam Ouaddou, and they're holding up saying, "In Ouaddou we trust." I mean, 2 opening games, 2 defeats. I mean, this couldn't be a tougher start for the new coach, particularly because he's taking over from somebody like Jose Riviero, who was much loved, a cup specialist. I think he only lost his last cup final. That was to Chiefs last year? I mean, wow. I mean,
Domestic cup final.
sorry, say that again.
Domestic cup final.
Domestic cup final, of course.
Mm.
I mean, I was gonna go. I mean, is this could this end before it's even begun?
It's so difficult to comment on it. I mean, you can be straightforward and be like, have it that rhetoric of the fans. This guy doesn't know what he's doing or whatever, whatever. But I mean, when you hear him speak, when you talk to him personally, he's a good guy. He knows what he's talking about. He's highly experienced. He's qualified. He's played at the highest level in the English Premier League, AFCON, World Cups, League On. Like he's got, he ticks every box, right? Perhaps the only boxes he hasn't ticked is that he hasn't coached a massive club with an expectation of Pirates yet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay, that would be disingenuous because Vita is a massive club with big expectations. But it's a different scenario because, like you said, he's coming from he's taking over from somebody who built the foundation, and he himself admitted, like, I'm continuing from a 3-year project started by Rivero because they had a 5-year vision,
Mm-hmm.
and the 5-year
Mm-hmm.
vision was to get back to the top of the South African football pyramid, which is win the league, be competitive in domestic cups, and potentially challenge for the Champions League. That in a nutshell, that's what it means. Then you get him. Let's look at the Marumo Gallants defeat against his former team. There is 10 new signings in the matchday squad. How are you building on a foundation with 10 new signings, 6 in the starting 11 in the matchday squad? Look, after the Sekhukhune game, everybody said, they struggled against Sekhukhune, whatever, whatever. It's nothing new. But there were a couple of players, particularly the right back Mashiluwane, who really struggled. He just looked like not on the level of the rest of the pitch, not even his teammates, the entire pitch. And then he starts again and he puts in another debutant in defense. Um, it doesn't bode well, like for the fans to get your support. But on the other spectrum, I said yesterday in another podcast, like, had he started the same lineup Rivero did, you know, and didn't get favorable results, we perhaps should be saying, why are you not starting the new signings? Why isn't Bule not on the pitch? So there's always going to be a thing to pick at to say why he's not getting the results, but the pressure is on. That's the only thing we can't debate about. The Sundowns up next this weekend in the MTN 8 semi-final. I mean,
Well,
you have to win this game, or many people are. I'm not inciting violence, but people are predicting police escort if you don't beat Sundowns this weekend.
I mean, like, do the Pirates fans just need to chill out a little bit?
Nah, no, 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 no. I think they should have expectations, honestly, because when Rivero came to Pirates, the team was a mess. I think they finished outside top 6, whatever. Okay, they lost the CAF final or something like that against Berakan, the CAF Confederation Cup. But the team was bad, like compared to where they are now.
Mm-hmm.
Like the core of the squad is Bafana players. You've got a guy who was the top scorer of the league 2 seasons ago in the stands. You've got a Bafana striker who fired us to third place at AFCON on the bench. You've got the defender of the season that was out. You've got the midfielder of the season that was out. You've got Mbata, Bafana midfielder, sitting in the stands. It's difficult. I can't like blame him because he says he's
Mm,
players on like who's doing well in training. Look, there's over 40 players. Like, Butti, I'm sorry for you as well. Like, you can't win here. Like, if you don't win a game, you are gonna be criticized. There's gonna be fingers pointed at you because people feel that you have a really good squad. And
sure.
Sundowns are not coming up with the excuse. Sundowns have problems too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shalulile is in limbo. Costa is not even in the country. The PSL football of the season.
Let- yeah.
Mudau didn't come for pre-season.
So,
Letlaku
yeah.
is itchy
Well,
feet
well,
as well.
well, look, we're going to move to Sundowns next, because I know we've got a show and we're moving quite quickly. But Lawrence, we want to bring in some of the viewer comments. So just to get some in before we transition to Sundowns, Patrick, who's been very active in our live feed, says new players are gelling well and we are happy. But my wish is we get someone paired with Sele, someone like Mabasa. Actually, I want to see De Silva in action. Obviously, making those comments in line with Chiefs. Very quickly, do you agree with Patrick? Do they need someone to be paired with Köhler?
Um, Luka Ngobo, I think they should give him a chance to cement himself. Like, you can't teabag the guy all the time and expect him to become a good player. He's not a youngster anymore. This is his season where he needs to stand up and just give him
Mm,
that run of games. He's talking about Mabaso, a young player that just he's shown a lot of potential, a lot of technical quality in the preseason. He's been in and around the bench. I think it's maybe a bit too early to throw him in. Maybe a couple of substitute appearances, maybe, and yeah, let's see.
Sure,
It
sure.
wouldn't hurt, but I don't think you can just throw him in the deep end, especially when you are still winning. Don't think around too much. And yeah, Silver, look, he didn't look particularly good in the preseason, but you never
Absolutely.
know. You never
Absolutely.
know what can happen. I don't want to bash him or rule him out, and then he ends
Sure.
up being the top scorer this season.
Yeah. And then we have the Pug Life essay. Chiefs have are potential contenders for the league. They look more decent than Orlando Pirates. Sekhukhune is another one to watch. Siwelele, Durban, and Auburn are also in good shape too. We are going to get to those teams later in the pod, but the Pug
It's
Life
too
essay.
early. It's too early. They're looking good now, but the league is a marathon. Look, Mangoba said it's gonna be an interesting season, but this is Bug Life. This is too interesting for me. This way too interesting.
well,
It's
well,
the cream always rises to the top. That's all I'm
okay.
saying.
And listen, we've got another one coming in, so we're going to keep the questions. Lorenz, do you think Nabbi will return? I have a feeling he's not coming back. I'm saying this because he once stated that if they don't buy him players of his choice, he will leave.
And I think he'll come back. Look, I mean, there's something that I was speaking to one of my mates about as I was driving to FNB yesterday. Um, and we were talking about Joseph Zinbauer when his son was in a terrible motor vehicle accident, and he resigned obviously to be with his family. Now I'm not putting two and two together and saying it's the same situation, but I mean, if the coach has to be with his family, a decision has to be made because apparently his wife is in not good condition. We hope that she gets better
Mm,
very soon. But I mean, it's not a very sustainable situation for the coach, his family, himself to be thinking about. If he needs to be with his family. Um, Look, there were rumors a couple of months ago that perhaps he was going to be fired even before the Nedbank Cup, and the current technical staff, his assistants, would have been on an interim basis. Somehow Kaiser Senior, this is what I've been told, Kaiser Senior stepped into the situation and diffused the tension, the anger between everyone, the staff, the management, the players, whatever, because it wasn't a good space. And Nabi continued and he went on to win the Nedbank Cup when they said like this guy's fired at the end of the season. So look, I mean, it's not been the best smooth sailing environment, but this guy showing some characteristics of Die Hard now. Just when you think that they're gonna, pull the plug on him, it comes up with the result. So look, it's an interesting thing, but I think one thing we can't debate is that they are potentially moving slowly into a better direction. I wouldn't say they're in the clear yet, but they're getting there.
all right. Well, let's transition to Sundowns. They've had a sluggish start, a draw, but returning back to winning ways. Um, Matthews and Rayner scoring midweek in their win. You were at the game, Lawrence. Tell me, I mean, just a blip on the radar before they sort of hit into second, third, fourth, and fifth and sixth gear.
Yeah, that put you through a lot of emotions watching them. You look at the lineup, you're like, too easy. They're gonna smash Amazulu. Then Amazulu start playing well. Then the game is just terrible to watch from both sides. Then you think, okay, but this pitch is crap. Then you think, no, but there's so many uncertainties. There's so many players not here. This one's not playing well. There's so many things you think of during that 90 minutes. And then you think, okay, but I thought this last season as well. And then, like I said, 10 games in, boom, they've got 8, 9 wins in a row. So Sundowns, you have to take the start with a pinch of salt always, man. It's like eventually they're gonna sort out things with Mudao. Shalulile will eventually sort things out by leaving or staying and signing a new contract. They're getting rid of players that they don't want, and the players that don't want to leave. Esquivel is just left to Greece. Um, the other guys that said Chan will go out on loan before the window ends. New players will come in before the window ends as well, and they'll be stronger. The players who want to be there will,
Mm,
and they'll sign new players to strengthen key positions. That's how it is. And I wouldn't call this start sluggish. I just think it was a surprise that they drew to Chipa, yes, of course.
I
But
mean, I
but
feel like you're getting caught in semantics with me.
no, 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 no. I think, look, eh, it's like a broken record. Every start of the season, the rival fans will say, Sundowns is not the same. But eventually, after 10 games, you think,
so,
FFP,
so,
FFP.
so let me ask you something, Lawrence. I mean, they are masters at winning the league. There's a formula to doing this, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And what is that formula?
Just win to get tired of winning. Like basically what Chiefs was doing last night. You played okay, but just win. You know what I mean? It's like, but it's just Sundown just have this ruthlessness about them. It's like they'll get 5 chances, they'll score 2 goals. The other teams get 5 chances, they score 0 goals, and that's just it's their ratio. They'll have a little bit of extra quality, and they've got a know-how, and they've got the Bafanas captain in their goalposts. And even when they don't have Bafanas captain in the goalpost, they've got I don't know, a 12-time league winner. I don't even know how many league titles Onyango has that comes in, and they just have know-how, I think. Even though there's so many problems, certain sections of the fans don't even like the coach.
Hmm.
Just managed to get things done, and I think it's just mentality. Like they feel this, they have this aura about them that they deserve to win every game. They are the best, you know what I mean? And that's when you develop that mindset, it's very difficult to beat a team like that. You know what I mean? They're just
Yeah.
so ingrained and indoctrinated into winning. Where other teams, perhaps Pirates now, their mindset will be a bit shaken. Chiefs is also like they're not coming from the best preseason. They would be feeling, a little bit of form is everything. Form and confidence is everything.
Mm,
A little bit of doubt in your mind. If you if you if you knock these guys, they wobble. Where Sundowns have a little bit more confidence and form going into every game.
yeah. So, Lawrence, we're fast running out of time on our live show, but we have two more subjects to hit. One of them is some of the, I don't want to call them minnows, but some of the teams that wouldn't be favored to be doing well, Durban City, and of Gallants and Sekhukhune, doing really well to start the season off. What are your impressions on each of those teams, and can they make any sustained runs?
Yeah, Sekhukhune is a dark horse for the league title. They've got an experienced coach who's been in and around there at the top of the table in Eric Tinkler. They finished fourth back to back. I had a great window. Like I previously hogged on about that. They've got Grobla now. They've got a Football of the Season nominee in Magalwa. They've got experience in midfield. Their defense just seems to be improving. They've got a Bafana left back, Letlapa. There's a lot to be excited about at Sekhukhune. Because obviously Tinkler's a guy who knows he's won trophies at Supersport. He's won trophies
Mm,
I think he won a trophy at Pirates as well. Won a trophy at Cape Town City. Things went pear shaped there at City, but I think he's the right man right now for Sekhukhune to potentially help them challenge. The league might be a step too far, but maybe a couple of trophies this season. They've in the MTN 8 semi final. The calling knockout has shown to be a team that the unfancy teams have been winning. So yeah, there's a lot to play for. Gallants, very shocking. I tipped them for immediate
mm,
relegation. But an interesting coaching appointment, and I want to focus on them a little bit because a 28-year-old
sure.
took over in charge. Alexandre Lafitte
There's
from
not many people
France,
who are younger than who are older than you, Lawrence.
for
So
sure, for sure. And
no,
he's one
no.
of he arrives as a league title winner from
Yes.
Stade Anne. So that's interesting. And I asked him, dude, you come from a title winning team that was playing Sundowns in the Champions League. Now you come to Marumo Gallants. What are you doing? He's like, no, 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 no. I like to take a team to build team who's not doing too well, and then build a project, and it's like, okay, sure, dude, whatever. And then boom, 2 wins to start the season. I'm like, huh, okay, what's happening here, you know? And then Durban City, obviously Gavin Hunt, four, 5 time league, I think five,
Four.
four
I got
time league, winner,
I've got
three.
three at Sport and one at Wits, but I'll double check.
You know what you're gonna get from him. He's the perfect guy for Durban City. You know, like the expectations is just to survive. I think in the first season, he says it's pretty much similar to what he had at SuperSport, which is top 8 and compete for a title. But I think he's exaggerating it. But I think their first priority is, survive and then see where you can go. So it's been a great start of the season. He's built a little decent squad there. um, yeah, I really hope it continues because he has been hammered in the media and by the fan base too, as somebody who is finished and he must just forget about football now. So it could be a nice redemption story for him at City, and I hope that it continues because Gav, as much as how negative he is and pessimistic most of the time, he developed some serious players for this country in
Yeah,
the past,
yeah,
and he'll continue to do so.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Before we go, we are gonna just give you a few more comments. Thank you to Patrick, who's been so engaged with us today. We really are here for the fans who want to be around the braai. And he says, I don't know if Sundowns players are tired or they're fatigued, but they're not convincing anymore. Or maybe Cardozo's instructions are not dwelling anymore. I mean, I think he means heading home.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
or maybe it's the beginning of the season and we might just say it's early, which is pretty much, I think, what Lorenz says. Lorenz,
yeah.
before you go, I just wanted to ask you one question on Benny and what he's doing at Kenya. This will be the last question, but yeah, I mean, he's had a reasonably good chan, I'd imagine, and we want to keep an eye on players who've achieved great things in Europe. He's obviously South African, working in Kenya. That doesn't often happen. I mean, he's had a reasonably good start with the Harambee Stars.
Yeah, I mean, it's a roller coaster just watching him, like what's happening on Twitter alone. Because I was laughing at another agent because he was like, "Why is Benny going to Kenya? He's committing career suicide from Manchester United to Kenya." And then we saw this thing of like how they were fighting inside there before Chan started, how they left Arusha where they was supposed to do a pre-Chan tournament, and we were just thinking like, "Ay, ay, ay, this is gonna be decent." But he was like, nah, we're coming home. We don't need to play these friendlies because this is the best preparation we have. And confident in the team. And then to see them beat a Moroccan team with a star-studded Moroccan team from the Botola Pro. You've got Rima, you've got
Mm,
Madrai, you've got all the big players from the big teams in the Botola Pro. And these are the guys who've won it twice. Morocco have taken this tournament seriously. You've seen players graduate from Chan into the Atlas Lions squad. You've seen them graduate from Chan into Europe. Ashraf Dari went from Wydad to I think it was Brest in Liga, if I'm not mistaken.
mm.
So yeah, this is a tournament. People were like, it's not the real Morocco, my friend. It's not the real Kenya either. It's home-based players of every country. And Morocco's league is one of the best in Africa, meaning they have one of the best teams there. So yeah, it's a great achievement. And I saw something similar towards the lines of Kenya is creating that Ivory Coast story where
Yes.
the fans are now flocking to the stadium. And if you have home support, it's a huge advantage. I hope they go maybe top four, maybe to the final even. Um, it would create momentum like nothing we've seen in Kenyan football to get the
Mm,
fans rallied back into the stadium. A lot of interest in their players for sure after this. And obviously a good momentum for the AFCON proper in 2029,
that's the one that
right?
they're hosting.
Pomoja.
2027.
Pomoja. I think it's 2029, if I'm not mistaken. Or 2027.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 2027, right?
2027, yes, 2027. So yeah, very stoked and excited for Benny. I didn't expect this.
Yeah.
I honestly
Kenya,
thought,
Tanzania, and Uganda.
yeah, I thought he's gonna go there and he's gonna cry and then leave and then come back to the PSL, but he's sticking it out there, and it's
Yeah,
very exciting. I'm sure the fans love it because he's so animated. Munibe is so
yeah.
animated. They're loving the touchline antics. It's like prime Mourinho.
Benny
Yeah,
can't stop himself, and his
yeah,
lads
yeah.
one of the best. Lawrence, it's been fantastic getting into this. And for those of you who tune into our live show, we've had fun bringing this to you. So please, look, we value you as our community. We always say like, subscribe, comment, share the content. And of course, we'll be back doing more of this as the season goes. We're Pan African podcast, so we will cast our eye all across the continent. And as Lawrence says, I think we really hit our groove during those CAF Champions League weekends and weeks where we will give you all the latest. Lawrence, we wish you well. I know you're busy with a bunch of things today around the PSL. Thank you for your
Catch
expertise.
the MTN 8 semi-final content coming later today.
Absolutely. Lawrence Köhler, search for him on all your major platforms. He's there. We're old, so we forget to mention TikTok, but he's there too, loud and proud. Lawrence, we wish you well. And to our community out there, thank you for joining us around the bar, Bri. We hope you have a good Thursday.
Cheers, guys. Do I need to continue rolling